This is episode 72 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. The Browns played all the way back on Thursday, so we're getting to you a little bit late with the recap, but we've got it for you nonetheless. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Baker Mayfield's injury and what everybody should expect from that. But the Bengals made an absolute statement win over the Baltimore Ravens this week, and now everybody nationally is trying to suck up like they were on our side the whole time. Well, you know what? I got the receipts. I ain't forget what y'all said. We were supposed to be lucky to go 6-11. Why don't y'all catch one of these? All right, get off the bandwagon because we were already here.
Weren't you one of those people who didn't believe the Bengals would be as good as they are? Because, you know,
I didn't.
That receipt.
Okay, so if you recall, I believe my final record prediction was something like 10 or 11 wins.
I said 12.
Yeah, you said 12. My dad said 13 actually, and I told him I was like, 12. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I'm sticking with 12.
But I was still furious at the people who were telling us that we were supposed to go 6-11. We're not going to win more than 6 games. I was like, are you guys kidding me? Have you seen what's going on here? But you know what? That's what playing the game is about. Mm-hmm. That's what playing in the game is about, and it's just going to come with winning, and that's what we're doing. We're 5-2, baby.
5-2.
Finally, the Steelers might have a new head coach next season. Because why, Thomas?
Because Pittsburgh still indeed sucks. You suck, Pittsburgh.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
How do y'all lose to the Bears?
So that was a really weird game. We actually almost came back and beat the Bears. Like Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions in a row, remember? Mm-hmm. And that was like one of them was a really bad one, and then like one of them was tipped, and it was just kind of like a really bad string of luck. But honestly, if he doesn't throw those 3 interceptions, we win that game. The way that we played down the end, I kind of wish we'd played that way the whole game, but The Bengals have been kind of like a first half, second half, like massive differences kind of team all year. So that's just kind of what's happening. But anyway, Thomas, why don't you tell me what you're drinking?
Today I'm drinking hot tea.
Drinking hot tea?
Yeah, there's been a lot of yelling this weekend. A lot of stuff.
Fair enough. Nothing wrong with taking it easy every once in a while. Me, I got to go get my beer, and I got to... one sec.
Kyle can't handle the headphone coat. I've been dealing with headphones this whole entire podcast. You guys can hear in crystal clear quality me drinking my tea. Y'all can probably even hear me sipping it. It is so refreshing. Nothing like hot tea going down your throat and just warming your heart. I mean that literally and metaphorically. And you guys who are listening to this on Spotify and Apple Music, currently, I am drinking tea out of a giant dad mug. And it's warming my heart. Shout out to the dads, y'all.
Anyway, to get back on topic.
Oh, we're finally back.
Yeah, we're finally back. I'm drinking a zombie dust today. Because that's what we did to the Baltimore Ravens. We made them into zombie dust.
That's a really good beer. Oh, my God. Yes.
Yeah, 3 Floyds, right? That's the name of the brewing company?
Yep. Yes. Oh, my God. That's a cider, right? Am I not mistaken?
No, it's an IPA.
No, you're right. I'm thinking something else, but I'm thinking the zombie killer. But the zombie dust by 3 Floyds is really freaking good.
I haven't had that one. I'm not a big fan of ciders, though, so...
well, it's a cider that's like 11% alcohol, so it'll get you messed up.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with 11% alcohol. I'm just saying it's you usually like from a taste perspective.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be drinking something I don't like taste wise, I might as well just be drinking like tequila.
Tequila.
There's nothing wrong with drinking for the sake of like effect, but there's just more effective things you can do at that point.
Tequila. All right.
Me and Tequila are not on speaking terms right now.
Tequila. Da 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 da. All right. Well, so
All right.
I'm really excited about talking about the Bengals, man. But you go ahead. You tell me what because Jamar Chase single handedly saved my fantasy team in my other league. Not my Yahoo league. I haven't looked at that one yet. But Jamar Chase, man, was it 200 yards? Did he have 200 yards? Was it
201 yards?
Yeah, he went off.
201 yards. You know what, Thomas? I have one bit of expert analysis that I really need to I think is going to help everybody, get a finer understanding of how I feel about this.
Jamar Chase is going to be the best one.
Fuck yeah! God, it was such a good game.
Okay. Well,
that game hyped me up so much. I actually had my my siblings come over in the middle of the game because they were dropping off some wine and coming to hang out with my family. And so they saw me like in the middle of just the Bengals just absolutely demolishing the Ravens, and I don't know if I've been like more hyped up in the middle of a game in years, man. I mean, like I'm telling you, I don't know if the Bengals have won a more in such a significant way. I don't know. They've won more meaningful games, like when they beat the Steelers back in 2012, I think it was, when they beat the Steelers to make it to the playoffs, and then it also in turn knocked the Steelers out of the playoffs. That was a pretty huge win. But as far as showing that this team is truly ascending, as far as like a game where nobody believed we were going to be here, as far as like a game that just meant more to the franchise. I don't know if the Bengals have really had one in my lifetime. Maybe when Chad Johnson guaranteed we would beat the Kansas City Chiefs in 2003. At the time, they were undefeated, and the Bengals were kind of like a nobody team that nobody we were still the '90s Bengals to everybody back then. And Chad guaranteed we beat the Chiefs, and then we beat them. The difference is we didn't beat the Chiefs by nearly as much as we beat the Ravens. It wasn't nearly as lopsided of a victory. It was more of a statement win, like, hey, the Bengals are a real football team. Whereas this win was like, hey, the Bengals might be the best team in the AFC.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. That kicker really helped my fantasy team out too. Yeah, I'm not ready to crown the Bengals the best team in the AFC yet.
I'm not either.
I think the AFC is just wide open, man. Like, honestly, I think the AFC is wide open right now. I think it's wide open with about 6 teams. I think my team is one of the teams that can compete for it. I mean, you probably gonna laugh at that statement. Like, the 4-3 Browns. Yeah, we'll see.
I think I think everybody, like, as far as the Bengals are as far as the standings go right now, they are the best team.
The best team in the AFC. Yeah,
they're the number 1 seed at the very least.
Yeah, the AFC is
now,
wide open.
In my power rankings that I haven't released yet because I'm waiting for the Monday night game that's about to happen. Actually, I think it's happening right now. Haven't gotten a look at that game yet, but I'm waiting for that game so that I can release the power rankings in full. But yeah, I did not. I'm not going to release, or I'm not going to reveal. You're going to have to go read the article to see where I put the Bengals. But I did not put them as I put them as the number 2 team in the AFC based on those rankings. There was another AFC team I had ahead of them. So you'll have to go read the article to find out who. But I do believe that the Bengals are right up there. The Bengals are absolutely AFC champion contenders right now. The way they're playing, they can beat. I mean, you got a feeling the way they beat the Ravens, the way that they've been, kind of hanging with everybody. The fact that we could be 7-0 right now, and I talked about it a little bit earlier when I was talking about the Bears game. We really, really, really could have and maybe should have beaten the Bears. We really, really, really could have and probably should have beaten the Packers. We could be 7-0 right now with some better luck. It's not with more talent. It's not with better coaching. It's not with et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just with better luck. This team could be 7-0 right now.
Hey man, I played a good game, man. Like I tell you, man. CJ Ugama, he looks good, man. Like I mean, shoot. Like I remember I came on freaking. I don't know if you were just being superstitious or whatever, and you was like, "Yeah, I'm picking the Ravens." Last week, but I remember last week, like I'm up here listening to you and Dante, and I'm like, "Yo, like I really believe the Bengals was going to win this game because honestly, you know what it was that the Ravens played a Chargers team, a young Chargers team, and the Chargers lost. The Chargers barely beat the Browns, and they barely beat the Browns off a couple of BS penalty calls. But my thinking was, hey, this is a young team. Maybe this young team gets ahead of themselves and they're up and down. So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Chargers are good, but they're a young team. So you might get their best performance one week. You might get the worst performance the next week. Mm-hmm. And I really do think the Chargers overlooked the Ravens. The Ravens were a team that struggled against the Colts, Carson Wentz coach, that they were losing for 3 quarters. And they had one good quarter and they won the game because they had one good quarter. And I was like, that's not going to work against the Bengals because the Bengals are a legit good team. Like you said, the Bengals are a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
And I just think that if they get behind on the Bengals early, and if Lamar Jackson start fumbling the ball and Lamar Jackson get careless the ball again, which he don't get criticized enough for, but my quarterback does for some reason, even though he gets to have more turnovers than my quarterback, but I'm not here or there.
Well, he didn't turn the ball over against the Bengals. To be fair.
Yeah, he didn't get the Bengals. I mean, but still, like, it's just like, I just knew that, I mean, it's so predictable, man. It's so predictable. Yeah. And the Ravens going to win a couple more games here and there, and then they're going to collapse that last month and a half of the season.
I definitely
it's so predictable now. It's starting, like what I said, it's starting to look more and more right. I can't wait to get Dante back on this thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get Dante back on this thing. Talk smack to him. But yeah, the Bengals look good. The Bengals look good.
Man, you know what the Bengals did? The Bengals did exactly as far as me predicting against the Ravens, I wasn't doing that because of superstition. Or against the Bengals, I wasn't doing that because of superstition. I was doing that because I genuinely, based on what we've seen so far, I didn't think they were quite there, especially after the Ravens just smashed the Chargers. I didn't think the Bengals were quite there yet. I did think that they could have. I did say that they could potentially beat the Ravens, and it's not impossible. I did say that my thought process was they'll probably split with the Ravens this year. It'll just be the home game that we win, not the away game.
Yeah.
But at no point did I say the Bengals couldn't win this game. I picked the Ravens because I was trying to be objective, and that was what I objectively believed, like many, many, many people did. I mean, there were a few people who objectively thought the Bengals would win, but I mean, honestly, most of the people who I saw objectively picking the Bengals to win, well, it wasn't even really objective. It was mostly kind of an emotional, I think the Bengals got it this week kind of thing. Not genuinely breaking it down. I think I really honestly think that this team is a better team than this other team.
Yeah, you taking a shot at me? I broke it down. I said exactly why I thought the Bengals were going to win, and exactly what I said happened. What I said that I think Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have a special connection, and that's what's going to separate them from. Because I mean that genuinely. Have it. Oh, so go ahead.
I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, okay, thank you. F those other guys.
You gave a fine explanation. I'm just saying most of the people I talked to who said the Bengals are going to win were mostly just kind of they were trying to be provocative. They were trying like when I went on Double Overtime. Brennan, the dude who runs that podcast with Mary. Brennan was the only one of us three to actually pick the Bengals to win, and he was just doing it. Well, yeah, shout out to him. But at the same time, he only picked them as kind of nobody else is doing it, I got to do it, and just kind of it was more of an emotional pick. And I think he said that on the show, and he definitely said that to me. He messaged I was messaging him afterwards, and he was like, I picked the Bengals, pretty much because nobody else did. So I mean, there were very few people who picked us who actually thought. Who were actually picking us because they thought that we were genuinely going to win.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what team I'm gonna get excited about because these Cavaliers, man. I just watched Larry Marketing just dunk on the Joker. Like he just jumped on him, just dunked on dude. I'm like, oh, these Cavaliers might be for real.
Laurie Marketing. That's a name I never thought that I would hear like ever again.
I mean, he's pretty damn good. He just dunked on Colin Sexton just missed a wide open three. Never mind. Okay, back to the Bengals. I tell you what though, this is what scares me about the Bengals. This is why I think the Bengals are so good. That Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection. I'm gonna say this to all the Bengals fans. Yep. That connection is elite. That's everything that everybody wanted it to be. I tell you what, it's what I wanted it to be because I need to take a victory lap because Kyle. Like, I think I was right about this. Can I just say that? Because, like, you see me. You heard me. Like, aren't you, like, I was right about this. Like, can I take my victory lap on this? Like,
absolutely, go ahead. I'm more than happy to let you take a victory lap.
Like, dude, like, I was always big on this. The only other person, like, Kyle Pitts, like I said, I wanted Kyle Pitts. So if you can't get Kyle Pitts, get Jamar Chase. I think
Kyle Pitts also had a really good game this week.
Yeah, but like,
not nearly to the same level that like Jamar Chase has been having.
Man, I'm such a big fan of Jamar Chase, dude. Like, I was always a big fan of him at LSU, and I was so excited about y'all getting him. And I said it, like, I just think there's something about that bailout deep threat.
Jamar Chase is currently on pace for 1,831 receiving yards. If you like extrapolate how many yards he's gotten and then multiply that by the number of games remaining and everything like that, he's on pace for 1,831 receiving yards, which would absolutely shatter Bill Groman. Fucking shit. Bill Groman. You know who Bill Groman is, Thomas?
I don't know, but I think I need to take another victory lap. Because all right, what did I say about the all-time record? You was like, no, because the Bengals have too many weapons on this team. I was like, all right.
Well, you know what?
Take another victory lap, Thomas.
Okay, you know what, Thomas? I get it.
Come on, man. Like, I'm just
this was me being, I think, a little more optimistic about the Bengals because I thought the Bengals were going to be able to get more done, through the air instead of just throwing the ball up to Jamar Chase all the damn time. I mean, we saw that against the Ravens. T. Higgins ended up having an okay game, but he really struggled at first. He was having drops. He was getting like, I forget the name of the guy they had covering him, but he was doing an excellent job of just making sure that T. Higgins couldn't get anything done that entire first half. It was looking really bad. So it's just like, at a certain point, Jamar Chase is the only guy you can really throw it up to, except for like C.J. Uzomah, and I mean he's good, but I mean he's a tight end. You're not really going to be getting like 300-yard receiving days from from C.J. Uzomah.
It sounds like I believe in your team more than you believe in your team.
Well, no, it's sort of.
Yeah.
You as far as their record goes, as far as this goes, this wasn't that I didn't believe Jamar Chase didn't have it in him. In fact, I said that. I said Jamar Chase more than talented enough to do something like that. I just thought the Bengals had too many weapons for Jamar Chase to really come through like that. So in this particular case, I was actually more optimistic about my team than you were because I thought all the Bengals' weapons were going to work out.
Who believed in the Bengals more, Thomas or Kyle?
Well, I guarantee you.
Want to find out? Go back and watch our old episodes.
I guarantee you now it's me. Because I have no reservations left. I think this team is a Super Bowl contender.
Don't everybody ignore the fact that I just threw a little promo in there.
What was your promo? Okay, so you said to ignore it. Whatever.
No. I literally said, like, if you want to know who believes in the Bengals more, Thomas or Kyle, watch our old episodes. Encouraging people to watch our old episodes. Watch our old episodes, y'all.
Go back and watch the old episodes. Definitely, Thomas says some very optimistic things about both teams, and I generally try to be a little bit more down to earth when it comes to actually making predictions and stuff like that. But As far as a few things go, yes, Thomas, you have been more right when it comes to being optimistic about the Bengals this season than I have. I will say I wasn't pessimistic, though, because I did say the Bengals were probably going to win like 10 or 11 games. I did say the Bengals could compete for the AFC North Division. I didn't think they would win it. Right now, they're on pace to win it, but they still got to... They still got to keep this up throughout the rest of the season. Although I will say, the way we had back-to-back blowout wins, one of which was against the Baltimore Ravens, which like just last week looked like one of the very best teams in the NFL. With those performances, I genuinely believe that this Bengals team truly is a Super Bowl contender, and I don't think that this is one of those like the performances that we've been having. This is what the season's going to look like now. This is what this Bengals team... This is who this Bengals team is. This is a really, really good, talented Bengals team that, honestly, next year, people are going to be talking about from the beginning of the year, can the Bengals win the AFC? If we don't do it this year, they're going to be talking about it next year. Because this is a really, really good, talented Bengals team that's well-coached. Zach Taylor's proven that. Got an elite quarterback who is playing at a top 10 level and might be, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now.
Probably. I think that week 17 or that week 18 game is going to be a lot more interesting now.
I definitely think it is. I think it's unfortunate that the Browns are so banged up right now because the game that we're both going to be at is going to be maybe received with a little bit less fanfare because the Browns being as banged up as they are.
Oh, they'll be fine.
People aren't going to be talking. Well, yeah, they might be fine. I'm not saying the Browns are going to be bad or anything like that. I'm saying it might not get as much attention from people.
Oh, if they beat the Browns beat the Steelers next weekend, that game gonna be hyped up because the Browns beat the Steelers. Here's the thing: the Browns beat the Steelers next weekend. The game's gonna be for first place in the AFC North.
So what I was saying earlier about Jamar Chase is he is on pace to shatter the all-time rookie receiving record, which was actually, a lot of people think that the rookie receiving record is Justin Jefferson's. It actually belongs to Bill Groman. Now, Justin Jefferson's got the record as far as what's happened since the merger. But Bill Groman actually had more receiving yards in, I believe, his rookie year, 1960 with the Houston Oilers. He put up 1,000.
Very impressive.
Yeah, especially to do that back then. Back when they had way less games too. But he put up 1,473 receiving yards. And right now, Jamar Chase is on pace for 1,800, which is like 103. The actual number is 133 yards short of the all-time yardage record among receivers across the board. So I mean, we're talking about he's coming up on slightly under pace for Calvin Johnson's all-time record of 1,964. If Jamar Chase picks his pace up by just 25 more yards a game, let's call it 26 yards per game. If Jamar Chase picks up his pace by 26 yards per game the rest of the year, he could be the first 2K receiver in NFL history. And that's his rookie year, bro.
Man, he's good. I mean, that 17th game helps. Man,
that it does. That but is also part of it.
He's good though. But he's good. That kid's legit. I'm not gonna take nothing away from that kid.
Dude, that touchdown he had against the Ravens, where he broke 3 tackles and did that old Lamar Jackson highlight against Nick Vigil and the Bengals that just gets played every single time these two teams can't come up, and actually pretty much every single time Lamar Jackson gets mentioned, and where he does spin move and breaks out of a bunch of tackles. Jamar Chase did the same damn thing. This highlight is going to go down as probably one of, if not the greatest highlight in Bengals history.
I think
because up until this point, probably the greatest highlight we've had, or at least the most well-known and talked about highlight we've had, is when Jerome Simpson did that front flip over the Arizona Cardinals defender. Problem is we lost that game. That actually wasn't, that was Carson Palmer beating the Bengals, and it wasn't exactly a totally fun game. But hey, we got a nice highlight out of it. But this game was a statement win for the Bengals, and Jamar Chase did so in absolutely mind-boggling fashion. 201 yards receiving.
Man, yeah, he's good. He's good. I think Josh Gordon could have been a great receiver if he didn't smoke a substance that's legal in half the United States currently.
And not only that, a substance that the NFL is starting to kind of change their mind about too. So I mean, Josh Gordon comes into the league in like 2025, and it probably doesn't make a difference.
That
He just came into the league a decade early.
Man, that hurts my soul, man.
Right. It's unfortunate.
Like, for so many, like, even if he wasn't a Brown, that would still hurt my soul. That is, man, come on, man.
It's really stupid.
It really is. But moving on though, on sticking on Bengals though, this team is good, man. This team is good. You never know. I mean, you already think about it. They have everything they need on offense, and that defense been looking good too. So on both sides of the ball, y'all winning on all three phases of the ball, special teams, defense, and offense. So and when y'all do that in the NFL, y'all can beat anybody. Y'all won a big AFC North game. The AFC North is the most physical league, is the most physical division. Right now, record-wise, the best division in football. This Bengals team's legit, and I'm very excited to see how this team move forward. November 7th is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, how we're going to...
Don't sleep on the Browns, man.
How we're going to... Well, definitely don't sleep on the Browns. The Browns... we'll talk about them in a second. But as far as the Bengals moving forward, they do have the Browns in 2 weeks, but before they get there, they need to focus on their next opponent. And not because they're a particularly great opponent or anything, but just because you never want to fall victim to the trap game. But the Bengals got the New York Jets on the docket, and I mean, I know it's the Jets, but it also is on the road, so there's a little bit more to be said about playing on the road. Bengals got the Jets coming up this week, and
I'll be the Jets.
And interestingly enough, Zach Wilson just I think sprained his PCL. So he's going to be out for a few weeks. And
who's starting?
Well, it was going to be a guy named Mike White. Do you know who Mike White is, Thomas?
I am going to be completely honest. I'll probably spend at least 20 minutes on Google to even figure out his last. I don't know.
Okay,
I spent 20 minutes on Google just to figure out how long he played in the NFL.
So, full disclosure. I had to do the same thing when I was writing up the notes for this episode. I was like, who the hell is Mike White? I actually I wrote up a little bit about it beforehand, and then when I came back to do more notes later on, I had to re-look up his name because I'm like, what's that guy's name again? Because like who the hell is Mike White? Well, I'll tell you who Mike White is. He was he was a 5th round draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys in 2018, and he was their 3rd string quarterback that year behind Cooper Rush, and then further behind Dak Prescott. The following year, he didn't even make the Cowboys roster or practice squad, and he ended up on and off the Jets practice squad in 2019 and 2020. 2021, he's finally earned a spot as the main backup and made his NFL debut last week against the Patriots after Zach Wilson got hurt. People got a little excited because on his very first drive, he threw a touchdown pass to Corey Davis. The problem is, it was a 3-yard touchdown, and the Jets were already on the 3-yard line when that play happened. It was like what happened was like Zach Wilson threw a bomb to, I forget who it was, but he threw a bomb pass, and he ended up taking a shot at his knee, and the Patriots ended up getting called for defensive pass interference on that play. So the Jets got the ball at the Patriots' 3-yard line. Or I think actually it was at the 2-yard line, and they ran the ball, went backwards, and then Zach Wilson threw Mike White threw the 3-yard touchdown pass. And so that all looked like, oh, hey, so maybe the Jets have a dude as their backup quarterback. Well, no.
Well,
He was awful after that touchdown pass. He barely completed 61% of his passes for 199 yards and back-to-back interceptions in the third quarter. And part of the reason the Patriots blew the Jets out so badly, I believe the final score was 54 to 13 or something like that. I forget the exact number, but it was something like that. And a big reason for that was because Mike White threw these horribly timed interceptions that like one of them actually almost pretty much directly led to the Patriots getting a touchdown on the following drive, and both of them were plays that the Jets were setting up, being ready to score. So that's like a 21-point swing right there, and that game probably doesn't look nearly as bad if Mike White doesn't throw those interceptions. Actually, just I want to say. Few hours before we started recording this podcast, breaking news actually came out that the New York Jets had traded a 6th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles to reacquire Joe Flacco, who, if you recall, did play for the New York Jets back a few years ago.
Might not be the only team trading a 6th-round pick for a quarterback.
Well, maybe not, but definitely not from the Eagles. I think Gardner Minshew is now entrenched as the backup quarterback to Jalen Hurts there in Philadelphia. Joe Flacco is now basically a relief pitcher for Zach Wilson while he's trying to mend that knee. Joe Flacco is going to come in against the Cincinnati Bengals, which is totally fine with me because the Bengals have a winning record against Flacco all time.
And Flacco's trash.
And he's definitely trash. I mean, he used to be pretty good. I wouldn't say people called him elite. He was never elite. He was up and down throughout his career. He had some good peaks and valleys, but when he played the Bengals, he typically lost. Especially like earlier in his career, he did pretty well, but at one point the Bengals just started kicking the Ravens' asses, and they until Lamar Jackson, when Lamar Jackson showed up, it all just kind of fell apart for the Bengals as far as being the Ravens' daddies. But for a good 5-6 year stretch there, the Bengals were doing nothing but beating the Baltimore Ravens when Joe Flacco was there, and it was a nice little thing that we could hang our hats on, even though we weren't winning playoff games.
Look, man. I'm sorry. I'm just ready to get into my Browns. I don't have nothing to say about Joe Flacco playing. All I'm going to say is y'all just going to go smack with Joe Flacco around, get ready for November 7th. Y'all better beat Joe Flacco because I want to be amped November 7th. I'm really hoping they kind of the NFL flex that game, but I don't think they will.
I look forward to the Bengals smacking around the Jets, but I also want the Bengals to pay attention to the Jets. Don't look ahead. Yeah. Don't be like Thomas. Don't look ahead to the Bengals-Browns game that's coming up in 2 weeks that all y'all should come out to Bengal Jim's tailgate and come hang out with us and tell Thomas the password sheefish so he'll give you a beer. However, the Cincinnati Bengals should focus on the New York Jets this week because the New York Jets, while not a good football team, are not winless. And the New York Jets can sneak up on you if you're not careful. So, Bengals absolutely need to focus on the Jets this week. We'll worry about the Browns next week. We really want to win that game. But we'll worry about that next week. Do the same thing we did with the Lions. We focused on the Lions. We beat the crap out of the Lions. Then we focused on the Ravens. And hey, look, we still beat the crap out of the Ravens. So it's not like you need to get a little bit of a head start anyway.
I think the Jets are going to play hard because Joe Flacco is going to play hard, but I just think he come into a team that early, learn the system. Well, actually, you probably know the system, but y'all be fine, dude. Y'all be fine.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the Browns. So
all right, let's go.
It's been a while since the Browns played.
Thursday?
Because it's been about 10 days since the Browns played.
They need that. They need that rest, man.
Actually, more than
they need that rest.
12 days since.
And you know, I like how they. I'm gonna be real with you. I liked what they. None of the key players for the Browns are out for the season. That includes Baker Mayfield. And so, I'm going with the Baker Mayfield, man, because I think Baker Mayfield actually. I'm just gonna say it. Baker Mayfield's gonna come back. He's gonna try and fight through that injury. He might not be back this week. And honestly, I was thinking about it personally. If I'm the coaches, I would probably sit Baker out for at least a month.
Yep.
I was thinking this, man. I had this come to heart moment. Because, like, I don't think Case Keenum is that good. Okay, I don't think Case Keenum is somebody who could win playoff games for us.
Mhm.
I know Baker Mayfield can. And I know they say, oh, yeah, Case Keenum won those games in the MC. Like, no, yeah, he did. But at the same time, and I don't care. And like, look, Kyle, I hear you say this all the time. Baker Mayfield is Andy Dalton. I hear Dante say all this stuff about Baker Mayfield. I read all this stuff on the internet about Baker Mayfield. I'm going to be real with you, Kyle. I literally do not care what anybody say about Baker Mayfield anymore because people have selective memory about Baker Mayfield. I literally don't care anymore. I literally don't care what your opinion is. Because here's the thing. People have selective memory of Baker Mayfield. People have the most selective memory about Baker Mayfield. It's like, I realized this against the Chargers game. When he threw 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, the team pulled up 42 points, lost the game, and they blamed that game solely on Baker Mayfield, not the defense.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like Andy Dalton.
Like that just sounds, well, yeah, but look, here's the thing. Andy Dalton didn't beat the Steelers in the playoffs in his first playoff game and have 3 touchdowns and over 300 passing yards against the Steelers in his first playoff game. Andy Dalton.
No, but he would have if he had played that year.
The Browns were literally 1 touchdown away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champions, last year in the playoffs. If the defense got that stop, the Browns would have got the ball back, man. They would have came back and scored, man. Man, they would have came back and scored because Baker was hot at the end of that game. Man, and that drive that the Browns got that last touchdown that we don't ever talk about that 80-yard, that 85-yard drive, and they go like, oh, what happens when people dare Baker Mayfield to throw? Well, the Kansas City Chiefs dare Baker Mayfield to throw, and he burnt them. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about how the Browns, Baker Mayfield, burned your own team last year. Completed every single pass he threw last year. Didn't miss a pass. 5 straight touchdowns. Drive, no timeouts. Minute and 10 seconds left. Drop in the bucket to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Oh, Baker Mayfield can't pass the ball. Oh, Baker Mayfield can't do this. I am literally done with y'all arguments. He had 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions last year. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Oh, no, Baker Mayfield can't do this. Oh, Baker Mayfield can't do this. Man, what do you want this man to be? Jesus?
Hey, Thomas.
But he's playing with a torn shoulder. I do not care, Kyle, about your opinion, ESPN's opinion, Stephen A. Smith's opinion, because when he comes back, he's going to go off, dude. So go ahead. What do you got to say?
Okay, so first of all, you sound like me defending Andy Dalton. Just putting that out there. Second of all, when I called Baker Mayfield, when I compared him to Andy Dalton, it was a compliment. Andy Dalton was a really good quarterback with the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, I mean, he's washed up now. He ain't the same guy he used to be. He does still have some of those talents, but he's not the same guy he used to be. But Andy Dalton in Cincinnati was probably he was probably the 3rd best quarterback the Bengals had ever had.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Andy Dalton had some really good seasons. But I think the problem with Andy Dalton was he wasn't good in primetime.
I think the main reason I compared Baker Mayfield to Andy Dalton is because I feel like Baker Mayfield has some limitations as a quarterback. Baker Mayfield needs a great roster around him to succeed. Like, Baker Mayfield's not the kind of quarterback who I really see regularly elevating the level of play of the people around him. Like Andy Dalton. Like, from maybe as a leader, sure. Maybe as a guy who brings a little bit of swagger, which Andy Dalton never did. They're definitely not the same person, but but they definitely play similar roles for their team. Baker Mayfield's the kind of guy who, if the Browns give Baker Mayfield an extension similar to what the Bengals gave Andy Dalton, then I fully believe that the Browns, can make that work. But the problem is the Browns have got to continue doing this thing where they're just putting an insane team around Baker Mayfield. And that's why they're winning right now, by the way, is because the Browns are so talented around Baker Mayfield that Baker Mayfield can do the things that he's good at, and the Browns can win with that. But the problem is, if you ask Baker Mayfield to try to be, Michael Vick, you ask Baker Mayfield to be Lamar Jackson, you ask Baker Mayfield to be Drew Brees, you ask Baker Mayfield to be Tom Brady, he's just not going to do it. You know, like Baker Mayfield needs the pieces around him to succeed. Now, if he has the pieces around him, he can be a really great quarterback. He'd borderline elite.
Every single team that he played against last year, or every single one of our key weapons last year were out last year. And don't forget, the team was literally 0-16 the year he came back, before he came in. And they went 7-9 in the very next year. What was that? Well, how good was that team with Hugh Jackson? What about the time he beat the Bills with Freddie Kitchens as his head coach? Or the time he beat the freaking Baltimore Ravens? Well, he did have Nick Chubb. But, like, still, I mean, like, these aren't...
I'm not saying he can't win any games. I'm saying for him to win consistently, to be somebody who elevates
about Patrick
the
Mahomes
entire
right now,
team.
too. You say the same exact thing about Patrick Mahomes right now.
What about Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes
Because,
is hurt,
like,
isn't he?
Yeah, he is hurt, but his team hasn't been doing good all season, and his team hasn't been good around him.
No, but he's still been putting up numbers.
They've been losing.
But at the same time,
Baker Mayfield literally put up numbers against the Chargers, and people was like, "Oh no, Baker Mayfield, no." That's what I'm getting at. I'm just saying this selective. What I'm getting at, Cal, is the selective criticism. People are just finding ways to criticize Baker Mayfield because they want to.
I'm just saying, look at the rest of the division. You got Joe Burrow, who like makes things happen regardless of the talent around him. You got Lamar Jackson, who like honestly, I've never really felt like the Ravens are a really great team, but Lamar Jackson makes things happen. Lamar Jackson won an MVP on a team that I don't think was ready to produce an MVP. I think a big part of the reason the Ravens lost those playoff games is because the Ravens just aren't that great of a team around Lamar Jackson. They're fine. Mm-hmm. But they're not that great. Look at Ben Roethlisberger. Like some of what made him a Hall of Famer. That is part of the reason he sucks now is because he was just able to create something out of nothing. And I don't see that a lot with Baker Mayfield. Like, yes, it happens. He's able to do that from time to time. I literally
seen it happen 2 Sundays ago with a torn label where he threw a 57-yard bomb to freaking Donovan Jones' chest.
Yes, that
was fluke. But let's ignore the fact that he has to have a stronger arm than Lamar Jackson and a stronger arm than Joe Burrow.
He does not have a stronger arm than Joe Burrow.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think this whole concept that Joe Burrow has a weak arm.
Oh, I'm not saying that Joe Burrow has a weak arm, but I think Baker Mayfield has a pretty good arm. He has a really good arm, actually. I think he has a really freaking good arm.
I think Joe Burrow has a more refined arm, though. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. I think Joe Burrow's skill set with his arm is much greater than Baker Mayfield's. Okay, not much, but greater. But greater than Baker Mayfield's.
That throw that he threw to Donovan Peoples-Jones with the mic drop. Man, I really hope he plays I hope he plays in 2 weeks, man. I hope he's ready in 2 weeks. I hope he's ready in 2 weeks.
I also hope he's ready in 2 weeks.
Because Kyle, I swear to God, Kyle, I swear to freaking God. I love you, Jesus. But I swear to God, if Baker Mayfield in 2 weeks, dude, comes back with a torn labrum and a fractured shoulder and outduels Joe Burrow, you are not going to hear the end of it. You are not going to hear the end of it. I swear, dude, you are not going to hear the end of it.
I guarantee you'll hear the end of it because that is not going to happen again. The only reason it happened last year is because Joe Burrow was trying to do it by himself. And he still almost beat Baker Mayfield. Joe Burrow's got a great team around him now. I guarantee you the Bengals are going to win that game regardless of whether Baker Mayfield plays or not.
Oh, dude, I can't wait for November 7th. But let's get back to something else. Because just ignoring, like I said, I really don't care what you guys say about Baker Mayfield. I'm just going to sit back and wait. Because every single time I sit back and wait, I'm right. It's like last year. People were telling me in my face, Thomas, Baker Mayfield is not your franchise quarterback. Next thing you know, they go 11-5, make the playoffs, beat their arch rival, and come within 1 touchdown beating the Chiefs. But that's not here and there. Let's just ignore all of those results right there. None of that matters. Okay, none of that matters, apparently. So Baker Mayfield is basically being punished for being on a good team, even though he brought the Browns from 0-16 to 7-9 in his first season when Joe Burrow got hurt his first season. But, whatever.
You act like I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan.
He broke the rookie touchdown record his first season, but whatever. Let's get back to.
You act like I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, Thomas. I'm just not as high on him as you are.
Man, look, it's not that, Kyle. It's not you. It's
No. I'm talking about this conversation we've been having.
I know. And I'm sorry. It's not you.
I think Baker Mayfield is a very talented quarterback. I do think there's limitations, though.
I think the problem is, Kyle, is that I'm taking my frustration out on you from the idiocy that I hear from other people. The reason why, just letting you know, the reason why I did not want Case Keenum starting this game, and I was hoping that Baker Mayfield gave it a go, is because I knew Case Keenum was going to come in and win the game against the whoever the Broncos are. I knew they were going to come out and win, but I did not want to hear it from the fan base, because the fan base aren't the most intelligent group of people. I mean, we are Browns fans. We stuck by this team through 0-16, and I had a parade about it. But
that was funny.
Yeah, it was great. But I just think that the reality is that if we got rid of Baker Mayfield, we're not going to get none of these free agent quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers. Get that out of your mind. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming here. I think he could. I think it'd be great. But let's be real. We're Cleveland. Let's be real. LeBron left us twice, and he's from here. I'm just going to be real with y'all. Just be real for one moment. The quarterback that lifts y'all from 0-16, y'all are bashing.
To be fair, I think the ownership situation with the Cavaliers might be a little worse. At the time, the ownership situation with the Cavaliers might have been a little bit worse than what the Browns are dealing with right now.
Yeah, but that's true. But I just think I think the Browns could rebound because I think they got a good general manager and good head coach right now. If they were to get rid of Baker Mayfield, they got a fantastic
head coach. That's one of the main notes I took about this game. By the way,
now let's get into
Kevin
this game.
Stefanski won this game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Oh my God, I really want to talk about that. Go ahead, Kyle.
Do you remember? I texted you during the game, Thomas. Now I know you were at the game, so you might not have seen it.
I was very intoxicated. Yes.
There's that too. But I texted you during the game, and I'm like, boy, y'all need Baker Mayfield back because this Case Keenum guy ain't it.
No, but that's the thing about Case Keenum. That I don't think Baker Mayfield's playing this weekend at all. I think that he's going to rehab his best and everything. But I don't think he's going this weekend. But I think you should set him against Steelers.
Well, you absolutely should because Kevin Stefanski can beat them by himself.
Exactly. Case Keenum is a system quarterback. That's why I don't like him better than Baker Mayfield because, you say Baker Mayfield has limitations, though. Case Keenum has some real limitations. When he throws the ball, that ball is very lofty. Mm-hmm. But Kevin Stefanski, he's such a wizard. The way he runs the ball, the way he moves the pocket, the way he manipulates the clock, dude. That game was just a genius job by Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski just freaking coaches. We call him a wizard. He's a wizard. Kevin Stefanski is a freaking wizard. And I love watching him just coach. He's such a smart dude. We might not have the best quarterback in the division, but we got the best coach in the division.
Well, Harbaugh. This was honestly, I think Zach Taylor might be a better head coach than John Harbaugh. Hot take, but I'm saying it right now because John Harbaugh, you just got out-coached to hell and back by Zach Taylor. But I really think 2021 might be the only year that you can really take a genuine account of how good Zach Taylor is as a head coach.
Yeah. Dude, I like Zach Taylor.
I mean, maybe the first 11 games of 2020, but even then, I think that was the adjustment period. 2019 was a wash because nobody liked you. Nobody wanted to play for you. You basically had to rebuild the team from scratch. 2019, I don't count anything that happened in 2019 towards Zach Taylor. Then the first 11 games in 2020, you saw some progress and et cetera, et cetera. Then Burrow gets hurt and it's what can you really do? Bengals are going to lose a lot of games no matter what Zach Taylor does. So what we've seen in 2021, I think I'm really only counting what's happening in 2021 towards, like, how do I feel about Zach Taylor as a head coach? Because, like, 2019 was a wash. 2020 was a bit of a mulligan. He's doing really good right now, and I think overall he looks like a better head coach. Now, I definitely think he's a better head coach than Tomlin. We'll get into that in a little bit. I think he might be a better head coach than John Harbaugh because he just outcoached John Harbaugh to shit and back.
Dude,
Kevin Stefanski. I think Kevin Stefanski might be the best head coach in the division.
I think I knew that Zach Taylor was a good head coach when he won that game with Steelers last year.
Yeah.
Because Zach Taylor literally exposed. You talk about a game where somebody exposed somebody. Zach Taylor exposed the Steelers last year. He exposed them. The Steelers haven't been good ever since. Yeah, Zach Taylor, hot take. Zach Taylor ruined the Steelers franchise.
Well, that not only this, but I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this. But like that game, that Steelers game for the Bengals, that was the wake up game. That's when things really started to turn around for this Bengals franchise.
Oh yeah, that's when the Bengals turned around for the
Steelers. When the Bengals went to Pittsburgh without Joe Burrow, behind Ryan Finley, and still punched the Steelers in the mouth. That game is the direct reason why the Bengals have Chris Evans on their team right now.
Yeah. We can't talk about the Browns without talking about Dearness Johnson. The fact that this team got so many good running backs is insane. Because that dude, like, he got, as soon as he got around those tackles, first of all, it was a great game about offensive line. But as soon as that man got, like, they ran the ball, the Broncos knew the Browns were going to run the ball. And the Browns still ran all over them. They're like, here you go, Broncos. And that just shows you the identity of this team, no matter who's quarterback. And that's why Baker Mayfield could take his time. And that's why Case Keenum is going to be able to play next weekend. Because, the Browns have so many playmakers, like you said. And you got 10 days off. You got 10 days to get this team healthy. This game was so big because it was a momentum shifter for the rest of the season. You win this game with your backup quarterback, your backup running back, and one of your best offensive line hurt. And then you have Jarvis and Odell Beckham coming back from injury. And then so you have people just get in the flow of things. Yeah. And if y'all could win like this with all of these injuries right now, all those players are going to come back. Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, they're all going to come back. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, y'all win without them. Wait till y'all get them back. Keep them going. Keep them going, man.
I really, like, you said it, but I hope the Browns get particularly healthy for Week 9 against the Bengals. Because I am finally at the point where I'm confident enough in this Bengals team ability to beat anybody that I want them to go up against the best of the best. I want to see the Bengals take on the best teams. I want to see the Bengals play the Browns at their best because I want proof. I think the Bengals are a better football team than the Cleveland Browns right now.
I think right now, yes. I think right now, at this very moment, yes.
Well, no, I'm talking about even when the injured guys come back.
Oh, okay.
I think the Cincinnati Bengals are better, and I want proof of that. I won't get proof of that until we play the Browns at full strength. And I'm worried about, we might not get that kind of exhibition in Week 18 because who knows what Week 18 is going to look like. Do the Bengals already have the AFC North wrapped up by Week 18? Do the Cleveland Browns already have the AFC North wrapped up?
No, it's going to be a dogfight, man. It's going to be a dogfight.
It might be, but it also, like, by then we might already know who the winner of the division is. It might not have the same kind of implications. And I'm not even necessarily saying that starters are going to be rested for that game, but they might be. I'm not sure what exactly we're going to be getting out of that Week 18 game. So I want all the smoke in Week 9. And unfortunately, I just don't see all the smoke happening if you don't have all the starters.
I think this game Thursday was great. The game being on Thursday was great because it gave Jim Broncos less time to prepare. So you knew it was going to be winning because the away team. I don't know the percentage, but I know that the home team wins at a very favorable percentage than the away team does on Thursday night. I don't know the exact percentage in my head, but it's insane. It's that same percentage.
I remember that. I don't remember the exact number either, but I do remember reading about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just preparation. So it was good. The Browns played their backup quarterback, and now they got time to Case Keenum, like I said, he's very serviceable. He could play that. He could run that system. He knows Kevin Stefanski's system very well, and they can just play a chess match with anybody.
Mhm.
And I just really think that when they play the Steelers this weekend, they're gonna be ready because although they don't have 14 days off like the Steelers do, they still had 10 days off, and that 10 days, I think 10 days off with a little exhibition game in between it is going to be big because the team's going to be able to come back. They're going to be able to rest. They're going to get heal those injuries. They're not rusty because they just played a game, but they're also able to rest and get healthy.
Right.
So I read, and then you got Nick Chubb coming back. Oh boy.
Gonna be fun. When's Kareem expected to come back?
Probably late this season.
Okay.
Probably late.
Before we move on, before we get to our underrated players of the week, I want to wrap up with one more thought about the Bengals and one more thought about the Browns.
Okay.
So the Bengals, a lot of people. This is still somehow an underrated storyline. People are starting to catch on to the fact that the Bengals defense is really good, but it's still like I don't think people are really quite understanding how good this Bengals defense is. Because like, what's the one thing the Bengals aren't doing right now? Generating turnovers. That's the one thing they're not. Because what they are doing is they're stopping opposing offenses from generating any kind of anything as far as like offensive production goes. You know, like the Lions didn't do anything, the Ravens didn't do anything, the Packers barely did anything, and that was only because of Devontae Adams. So I mean, you know, this Bengals defense is doing great in 90% of what they're doing. Even Eli Apple is playing really well lately. So it's like you really don't have any holes on this defense anymore. The one thing they haven't been doing is generating turnovers. They were doing that early in the season. It's kind of slowed down. There were a couple opportunities to get turnovers off of some bad balls thrown by Lamar Jackson, but unfortunately they didn't come down with any of them. But what they are doing at an kind of an astounding rate is they are stopping opponents on fourth down, and that's a turnover. You know, it may not go down in the stat column as like part of the turnover margin. Well, that's a turnover. You know, people are talking about, you know, oh, the Bengals were -1 in the turnover margin this week, and they still demolished the Ravens. What a great thing. But don't forget, I believe the Bengals stopped the Ravens on fourth down 3 times this week.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, on the whole season, let's see, I had this written up somewhere.
Oh, I thought you froze for a second. Like, what happened to him?
No, I wrote down the. Let's see if I can. Okay, yeah, here we go. The Bengals have stopped opponents on fourth down 8 times this year. That's a 4. There's 8. the Bengals have stopped opponents on fourth down 8 times this year, which is tied for 3rd in the NFL. I forget who the 2 teams are that have done it more than the Bengals this year, but that's a big underrated part of why this Bengals defense is doing so well. Because while they aren't getting the interceptions and the fumble recoveries and et cetera, and they were earlier in the year, but it's kind of calmed down since then, they are stopping opponents on fourth down, and that's just as good as a turnover because the Bengals get the ball at the spot. Now, I mean, there's also no chance of that turning into, like, you know, defensive touchdowns, but you know, it's still a turnover, and you'll still take it. And that's a big reason why we like beat the Ravens as badly as we did, is because you know the Bengals were stopping the Ravens on fourth down and getting the ball back in pretty decent territory.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson didn't really look good that second half either.
Yeah. And okay, so the last thought I want to talk about with the Browns is I want to get into Baker Mayfield's injury. So, what is exactly the latest on his injury? What like?
Biggest thing on his injury is that he had a fracture in his shoulder as well.
Okay.
From everything that I'm hearing for real, is that he's gonna give it a go
Against the Steelers.
not against the Steelers.
Okay.
I mean, he's probably gonna try. He's probably gonna try. He's probably going to try, but I mean, like you said, you texted me about it. The doctor said that they're not going to clear Baker, that he can't play until they clear him. It's fine. It's probably the best thing anyway.
Yeah.
I think what they're going to probably do. I think they don't really mind him playing with the torn labrum. I think it's the fracture that they're concerned about. So
Yeah,
I think
for
what they
sure.
want. Yeah, I think they don't really mind playing with the torn labrum. It's more or less the fracture. So
Okay.
the labrum's torn. So I think they're more worried about the fracture. I'm not a doctor. I don't get here and act like a doctor. I've been listening to radio the last week and a half. Oh, I had that injury. I know where he's going with. Like, man, no, the hell you don't. Shut the hell up. So I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this. But everything I'm hearing, they're not shutting him down. If they're gonna shut him down, they would have done it already. And everything I'm hearing is he's working to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me he's gonna be back. Now, if you're bringing him back, the thing is that I think the Browns are confident they can make the playoffs with Case Keenum, but I don't think they can make a Super Bowl run with the Case Keenum. So I think the goal here is to not only get Baker Mayfield back, but get Baker Mayfield back where he feels comfortable throwing the ball again.
Right.
Because you think about it, you have that injury. It's like when a pitcher has an injury on the left side of his body. He starts throwing high, he starts throwing low, all this other stuff. It does affect your emotion because you got to change your whole mechanics so you don't feel pain when you throw the ball. They always pain tolerance. It's actually a lot harder than it seems. So, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl on a torn MCL last year. So,
All right. Well,
Let's see.
we'll see exactly what he's going to do.
But I say rest him for a month.
Hopefully, well, I hope that he makes it back for the next Bengals game. But
Yeah, me too. But I think they should rest him for a month. But I think when he does come back, I know when he does come back, they're gonna take their time. Knowing this, these are the Browns. Knowing how the Browns have been treating their injuries the last couple of years, they're gonna take their time with this, and I hope they do. I really do hope they do.
well, the Browns seem like they're smart, so they probably will.
Yeah, they're gonna take their time.
Lately, they seem like they're smart. Let me clarify.
Hey man, Kevin Stanfield. Well, that's what happens when you start hiring people from Harvard.
Yeah.
There's no way nerds can know football. These nerds don't know football. Turns out.
Wow.
Shout out to the nerds, y'all.
I consider myself a football nerd.
I
Didn't exactly do very good playing the game, so the only reason I know anything about it is because I'm just a gigantic nerd.
I got my underrated player of the week ready.
All right. Well, I was actually going to suggest we go ahead and move on to that anyway. So why don't you go ahead and start off then, since you got it ready? Who's your
Samaje Perine? Did I say his name right?
Yeah, you did actually. Very good.
All right, cool, fantastic. I very impressed by him. 52 rushing yards, and how many receiving yards do you have? 23, one catch. For 23. He looks good. I mean, it just gives his team, it gives his Bengals team layers. To have another backup running back to do what he could do. I know I'm big on Chris Evans, but Samaje looks more ready to go, and this Bengals team got a lot of weapons on offense, and it just makes them fun to watch. I mean, it also helps when your quarterback have 400 throwing yards, and the defense got a double team freaking Jamar Chase. But I mean,
Chris Evans also had a little bit of a hamstring issue this week, so
yeah.
I think that's part of why he didn't play, because I think they were just trying to be careful with him. He did play on special teams though. He was getting in there, but he didn't take any snaps as a running back.
Yeah. I'm actually a big fan of how Samaje Perine played, and whoever picked him up in fantasy a couple weeks ago was on to something.
Mm-hmm.
I should have picked him up because my fantasy team sucks.
Well, the only thing about picking Samaje Perine up is you never know which week he's going to do well. He's going to get you fantasy points, Samaje Perine is, but you don't know when it's going to happen. Because they do like Chris Evans and they do like Samaje Perine, and honestly, picking either of them up, it's like, yeah, you could, it could be a good pickup. It could get you some good points and help you win some games. But it could just as easily lose you some games if you play them any given week, because you have no idea what the Bengals are planning on doing that week with either of them. And even then, they might not know what they're going to do, because they might have a plan, and then that plan just isn't the way that that game actually goes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, no, he looks good, man. He looks good when you need as many weapons as you want, man. So that's in the AFC right now. It's about to be a fun year in the NFL. The AFC is like wide open. My God, it's wide open. Man.
I believe I gave the underrated player of the week to Samaje Perine a couple of weeks ago. He's having a much better season than I expected. He was one of those guys. I wanted the Bengals to keep Jacques Patrick over him, but he's doing good, and he's kind of proven me wrong a little bit. So my underrated player of the week this week for the Bengals is going to be linebacker Akeem Davis-Gaither.
He's very underrated.
He's very underrated. He is a starter, so he, like a lot of Bengals fans will know him because, he plays a lot of snaps. But he kind of gets buried in the narrative because you got Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt both having they're both kind of taking a step this year, and so both of those players are kind of like overshadowing Akeem Davis-Gaither. But this week, he was as big of a reason why that defense played well as anybody. He was absolutely stifling in coverage. He did allow one 23-yard catch to Mark Andrews at one point. And I remember angrily writing notes about that play. I'm like, the Bengals are getting killed by Mark Andrews again. What is this crap? We can't ever defend tight ends. But that was like the only time that really happened. At least as far as like Akeem Davis-Gaither. I think Mark Andrews did get another big catch in that game, but it wasn't Akeem Davis-Gaither's fault. And other than that, ADG didn't really allow much over the middle in the passing game at all. And in fact, he arguably made the defensive play of the game when he almost intercepted. He officially deflected the pass, but almost intercepted a pass intended for Marquise Brown on 4th and 7 in scoring range for Baltimore. And instead of, because the Ravens were already behind, I think 27-17 at the time. The Ravens elected, instead of kicking a field goal, they're like, we got to go get a touchdown. It's late in the game. Let's go, try to get this done. And ADG got in the way of the pass, and like I said, almost intercepted it, but doesn't really matter because it was 4th down. So the fact that he knocked it down, Bengals get the ball at the line of scrimmage for the Ravens anyway. And from that point, that's the very next the next drive is when Joe Mixon got his breakout touchdown run, and the Bengals went up like 34-17, I think. And then the very next drive after that, Samaje Perine got his game-sealing one where they went up 41-17 at that point. And it was just the second Akeem Davis-Gaither broke up that pass, it was pretty much over. The second that he got that accomplished, just like, okay, I really can't see the Ravens coming back from this at this point. The Bengals are just playing too well, and I mean, you still got a decent amount of time left in the fourth quarter to go, and we've seen the Bengals blow bigger leads before, but just the way this game is going, this 10-point lead is insurmountable at this point because they just gave up that 4th down conversion.
Okay. I like it. Okay.
Yep. So shout out to you, Akeem Davis-Gaither. You are much better. Like whenever I play Madden, I always replace him because I haven't thought that he's really the best third linebacker for our team. But man, he's been proving me wrong the last couple of weeks. He definitely. I'm starting to think we are good at the linebacker position with Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, and Akeem Davis-Gaither. That is a great starting three. And
the defense been good.
They're getting done in coverage, which is like why I was hoping we would get somebody like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. But bro, we got Logan Wilson. I don't think we need JOK. Y'all can have him. It's good.
All right, we'll take him for sure.
I mean, I'd rather him be somewhere other than the Browns because I don't like him being in the division. But
don't worry, we won't see him for another couple weeks anyway.
Yeah,
IR right now.
All right, so let's move on to the Browns underrated player of the week. I'm going to go first here.
Yep.
So I'm going to give it to linebacker Mac Wilson.
Okay, cool. It's crazy because I was going to pick him too. I got it back up. Don't worry. But that's a good one. one.
He only played 17 snaps in relief of JOK. I forget who it was. Somebody else played basically the same relief position. I think had more snaps. But Mac Wilson was really efficient with his snaps, man. He had 6 tackles on 17 snaps. That meaning 35% of the time he was on the field, he got a tackle. That's insane levels of efficiency. If he actually played the whole game, he would have had something like 20, 30 tackles. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
And like his best play of the game was the very first play of the first defensive drive. And he stoned Melvin Gordon for like 2 yards on the very first play, and it set the tone for the way the Browns defense was going to play that whole night. And I mean, I know the Broncos are the Broncos, and they're starting to look like a basement dweller type team, but at the same time, you set the tone like that early in the game. I don't care who it's against, you're setting yourself up for success.
Okay, I like
Also,
that
he only allowed a single catch on the day, and that catch only went for 3 yards. So
I'm really high on that, and I was actually gonna go defense too. No, Mike Wilson though, he's been everybody's been calling JOK his replacement, and everything, but I like Mike Wilson. I like the pedigree he comes in with with that Alabama pedigree and that championship pedigree. He's really good. I'm really excited. So I'm really excited to see how Mike Wilson does with JOK out. And I was gonna give my underrated player of the week award to Anthony Walker Jr. For coming back from a hamstring injury. But I already think he's an underrated player.
That's the other guy I was trying to think of, actually. The guy who actually had more snaps at the same position in relief of JOK was Anthony Walker.
Because Anthony Walker was out for 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. And it's ironic the defense looked good again with him back. He's a veteran defensive player. He looked good with the Colts. But I'm actually not going to go with him. I'm actually going to go with Takk McKinley. And he only had 2 tackles, but the reason why I'm going with Takk McKinley is because he's playing. And I think that's big because that's the best. I think the one thing this defense for the Browns need is time. I think they have the talent. I kind of question the scheme here and there, but what I mean? Like I just think with time, you have Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett on that defensive front.
Right.
You add Takk McKinley on there. Takk McKinley has talent. I think that as long as he gets snaps and reps, he's going to show out. You're going to see him. You're going to see him show up, and he's going to show out really well. I think it's just literally a matter of time for him. So see him out there get 2 tackles, see him play every game, see him healthy, see him show up to practice, see him being there, seeing Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett be good influences for him. The reason why I'm putting him as an underrated player of the game is because I think long term, this is just a building block for Takk McKinley. And I just appreciate him being out there. I think it's just great. So that's what I'm going with, that reason.
Awesome. All right. So there you go. Shout out. Those are our underrated players of the week. And if you think somebody else deserves to get it, why don't you leave a comment down below and let us know.
Anthony Schwartz.
We're also, Anthony Schwartz had a good game.
CJ
Austin
Uzomah.
Hooper had a good game.
Austin Hooper shows up once every 4 weeks.
Yep. So comment down below. Let us know who you think should be the underrated player of the week. But let's go ahead and move on to the fantasy league real quick. I just want to kind of power through this because I don't think we really need to take like super long on the fantasy league. Maybe that's because I believe I lost, so maybe I'm just trying to be like I don't want to talk about it. But
I'm coming back. I just need James Winston or Metcalf to have a touchdown. I'm good.
Well, when I looked earlier, I saw that you were projected to lose to Nick.
James Winston is driving right now. I got 92 points to his 97, so I'm coming back. My other team won thanks to Jamar Chase. Shout out to you, Jamar. But I
imagine Jamar Chase would have had a huge game.
I got Metcalf playing. And I got James Winston playing the fourth quarter in a tie game. So I would imagine one of them will get a catch or a touchdown or something or a throw or James Winston is driving currently. So I would imagine one of them could give me those 5 points. I hope.
Winners this week, hanging with Hernandez. Michael Dorsey beat me, so that's annoying. DJ McNutt absolutely demolished Brad McGee. Dunder Mifflinites 7-4-0 beat the annexation of Puerto Rico. And part of that was because, my God, Brad had 4 players who didn't play. Like, I think he might have just forgot to set his lineup. Because, I mean, you got Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Ezekiel Elliott. All 3 of them are on bye. And then you had Antonio Brown, who was out. And I think he was out before the game, too. So, I think Brad just wasn't paying attention. Now, granted, he still would have gotten his ass whooped. Because, he would have, put Cordell Patterson in over Antonio Brown. That gives you, an extra 13 points. He's got Odell Beckham Jr., put him in over Justin Jefferson.
Stupid.
Rondale Moore. He's got Rondale Moore, so he would have put him in over Keenan Allen. And then Zeke. He wouldn't have had... he wouldn't have had anybody to put in over Zeke. So, I mean, he would have maybe gotten, another 20 points or so. But, man, that was such a lopsided victory. 129-44 to 43-92. Man, that was just worth pointing out. And Brad's having a good year this year. That's just, he just wasn't paying attention this week. That's kind of unfortunate for him.
Man, I mean,
that's why you got to pay attention, guys.
Yeah, that's why you got to pay attention to fantasy, because that's how you lose. So, I didn't pay attention to Kareem Hunt be on the IR, and I didn't take him out, and I could possibly lose this game. But Jameis Winston just got me some rushing yards. Come on, Jameis.
But right now you are now projected to beat Nick. Whereas as earlier. When I did these notes earlier, you were projected to lose at that time, but now it's looking like you're projected to win. So,
yeah, that's just saying that your quarterback. They think the quarterback will score or something.
Yeah,
come on, James, or Metcalf could get a touchdown or something. Somebody got to score. And Metcalf is the leading receiver. He's definitely gonna get a catch. Probably one more catch from him. Looks
like Jan Romero is going to win his second game in a row after starting 0-5. So. Is Jan Romero and Often Church going to make a giant comeback this year? Never know. Keep an eye out for him.
Did Church win last week?
Yeah, he beat you.
Oh, this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's right now. He is beating Debbie's unmatched team, Debbie Morgan. Score is currently 109.04 to 94.88. And it's looking like they both have players in this game, but neither of them are significant players in this game. So it's most likely going to finish around what it's currently at.
Maybe we should stop saying beat and Church in the same sentence. God dang it.
I don't know what you're saying
that. Even when I say it like that, it still sounds naughty.
So you got Ian Plank beat Cameron Matthew. So congratulations, Ian. You got Christopher Deaton lost to Jordan Heiser. You got looks like John Dorsey beat the hell out of the bot. So that idea we had about the bot, once the bye weeks start hitting, the bot's going to start struggling. Well, the bot struggled. The bot only scored 40 points this week. So I think it's about that time of the year when you start seeing the bot on your schedule and you start being happy because you're probably going to get a win.
Can we call the bot the Steelers?
That'd be funny.
Take that, Pittsburgh.
So highest scoring team this week so far looks like Dunder Mifflinites 7-4-0. So shout out to you, DJ McNutt. I got my ass whooped this
That's
week.
a good name.
And honestly, I didn't stand a chance. The only thing I could have done, Trey Sermon didn't get anything done this week. He didn't even, I don't think, even took any. He might have taken some snaps, but he didn't get any handoffs or anything like that. So I got 0 points from him. But it's my entire bench got 0 points except for Le'Veon Bell, who got 0.9 points. So I could have maybe got an extra 0.9 points if I put Le'Veon Bell in over Trey Sermon. But that's it.
At least
it was a rough week for me.
At least you didn't drop Baker Mayfield for Sam Darnold in your other league, and Sam Darnold gives you 3 points because Sam Darnold had the freaking worst night of his career.
Yeah.
He did. He had worse nights, but that was horrible with Sam Darnold. What was that, Sam Darnold?
All right. Well, anyway, like I
You
said,
suck, Sam.
congratulations to everybody who won in fantasy this week, and
Thank you.
I'm very upset. But you know what? We'll just move on. And
Hey, I felt that paying 4 weeks in a row, man, or 4 weeks out of the last 7. So
well, there you go. Let's go ahead and move on to the state of the AFC North now. So, since we already talked about the Ravens, we probably don't need to. We talked about the Bengals Ravens game, so we don't need to talk about the Ravens too much. But let's go ahead and start with them. And is it time? I asked this question last week. If it was time to start taking the Ravens seriously. So now my question is it time to stop taking the Ravens seriously?
Man, Kyle, I'm going to stick with my original take about the Ravens that I had at the very beginning of the year. And I'm going to stick with this. And I can't wait to have Dante back on this podcast again because the inevitable is going to happen. The Ravens, their injuries and their problems are going to catch up with them eventually. They're going to beat the Vikings and the Dolphins and the Bears. And they play the Browns, the Steelers, the Browns, the Packers, the Bengals. Oh, that last month is...
Yeah,
they might not...
month, their last, 7 games is rough.
Look, man, here's the thing. The Ravens schedule... I would look at the Ravens schedule so far. We got the Raiders. You got the Chiefs who we're learning who are not as good as we thought they were.
Yeah.
They got the Lions, the Broncos, the Colts, the Chargers, and the Bengals. Who do they beat besides the Chargers?
Exactly.
Like who do they really beat? They beat the Chiefs.
We were saying the Chiefs at the time, but since then it's starting to look like, well, maybe the Chiefs wasn't such a great win.
That's what I'm saying. So the Vikings aren't going to be easy. The Vikings probably going to play them tough. Yeah. They do that same thing they did to the Colts against the Vikings. They're going to lose. I
wouldn't be shocked to see the Ravens end up 4-4 before they travel to Miami. And then after that, like you said, it's they play the Bears in Chicago. They play the Browns. They play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Then they play the Browns in Cleveland. They play the Packers. They play the Bengals. They play the Rams. They play the Steelers again. So I could just as easily see them finishing 8-9 as I could see them. Maybe they do well. Maybe they finish 12-5. But I could just as easily see them finishing 8-9.
Here go a crazy take. Here go a freaking crazy take. The game against the Browns, November 28th, if they win that game, they might win that game. But if they win that game, that'll be their last win they have of the season.
Quite possibly.
I said it. I said it. I said it. I'm sticking with that statement.
It quite possibly could be. Their schedule is rough going forward.
And Lamar Jackson gets worse as the season goes on. So, we'll see what happens.
So the Steelers, little bit of a not breaking news, not really news, just more like just a talking point that kind of came up. Did you hear about this, Thomas?
No, go ahead. I want to hear it.
No. Okay, so
I might have changed my last statement around.
Former Cincinnati Bengals franchise quarterback Carson Palmer went on the Dan Patrick Show to talk about a couple things, but in particular, he was talking about the head coaching vacancy at his alma mater, USC. If you recall, Carson Palmer was pretty much the last great quarterback to come out of USC.
Well, it's gonna be great because we all know he's gonna go.
I've heard, weirdly enough, of Carson Palmer being floated as one of the potential people to take over that head coaching position.
Okay.
But you know who is somebody he mentioned as one of the front runners to take over that position?
Well, I don't think he's going to say Urban Meyer because that's too easy. So I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin.
It's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, there you go.
Mike Tomlin.
Oh, dude! If my theory comes correct, if I would take, I'll be able to take 2 victory laps today in a minute.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's actually that sounds almost exactly like what the Steelers would do. Is like you predicted they're going to fire Mike Tomlin. What would most likely happen is like if that situation were to come to fruition, Mike Tomlin would most likely resign as the Steelers head coach.
Yeah.
And the Steelers would allow him to resign, and he would go take the head coaching job at USC. Now, a lot of Steelers fans are pushing. I actually saw the SB Nation page for the Steelers. I think it's called Behind the Steel Curtain. One of their contributors mentioned how it doesn't make any sense that would happen because Mike Tomlin signed an extension to help the Steelers through the transition away from the Ben Roethlisberger era. But that hasn't stopped people before. If the Steelers are just really, really bad, Mike Tomlin, to save face for his own Hall of Fame career, I could totally see him doing something like taking that USC job, which is paying a very, very well-paying job, by the way.
If I'm being real with you about Mike Tomlin, I think Mike Tomlin is what a center is to the NBA in coaching.
What?
I think he's a coach that's going out of style. I think he'd be a great college coach. But I just think Mike Tomlin is a very discipline-heavy, well, not anymore discipline. How do I explain it? I don't know. I'm on to something here, but I'm not fully formulating it. It kind of came to me in my head. I was like, oh, I see. Like, Mike Tomlin would be a really good coach in the early 2000s NFL. Yeah. But I don't think that he would be a good coach in the modern day NFL. And I'm trying to explain it, but I don't know how to explain it.
I get what you're saying. I don't know if I entirely agree with that. I think he's a fine coach for the modern day NFL. For me, I don't think that he's really done a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, me neither. I mean, he's a good coach.
He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
I think he won a Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's team. But yes, he did win a Super Bowl. He took them to another Super Bowl. Now, that was going to the Super Bowl the second time. That was, I think, more of a Mike Tomlin accomplishment than the winning the Super Bowl. Because I think they won the Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's team. But when they played against Aaron Rodgers, that was probably a good coaching job by Mike Tomlin. But since then, man, it's just been like it's been a very slow collapse for the Pittsburgh Steelers because I mean, like
it's been fun to watch.
Winning. Well, it wasn't fun to watch there for a while because they were still winning. They were still making the playoffs. They just, they kind of stopped winning playoff games after Tim Tebow kind of got in their heads.
Shit, that's funny. That's great.
And I like they weren't doing anything very good there for a while. So, I mean, like, a lot of people talk about, like, playoff droughts and stuff like that. They don't talk about the Steelers because they've had so much success. But really, for a while now, the Steelers have not been, like, living up to their potential. Yeah, they've been, not having losing seasons. But it's just like, where's all that potential been going? I think we need to start talking about, like, what the Steelers have done, really, since Mike Tomlin's had his guys.
I think what's going to happen is... I think the Steelers, man, I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I'm going to keep my mouth closed and just let the collapse happen. Bring on the Steelers this week. It has
been really fun to watch since probably about 2017.
Dude, I want to be real with you. Sunday just screams Nick Chubb. Like, I was just sitting here thinking about this. So, like, can we just all agree that Nick Chubb is an elite running back? Can we all agree on that? Like, nobody can disagree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nick Chubb is an elite running back. But if I'll be honest with you, Kyle, if last Thursday was a playoff game, I bet you money Nick Chubb will play. I just got the weirdest feeling the Browns just set out Nick Chubb that extra week. Just say, Nick Chubb, we got this game against the Broncos. But when you play against the Steelers on Halloween, I want you to go Freddy Krueger on those people. I want you to hunt the Steelers' nightmare forever. Dude, Nick Chubb is going to he's going to be the thing that breaks the Steelers this year.
Yeah. Well, I think
he's going to go off on Sunday. My God, he's about to go off on Sunday. He had 4 weeks to rest, dude.
Yeah.
That's scary. The last time he had that much time to rest, he freaking stiff-armed somebody in the freaking Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, my God, Nick Chubb, dude. Oh, my God, he's going to go so crazy on Sunday against the Steelers. It's going to be so funny to watch. Oh, my God, he's going to go off on the Steelers.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
And the offensive line is fully healthy. Oh, my God. He's going to go freaking insane against the Steelers. I'm having this realization right now, Kyle, of what Nick Chubb is going to do to the freaking Steelers. Well, if you want to know what he's going to do to the Steelers, watch Nightmare on Elm Street and times that by 10.
All right. Well, we'll see, but I think that's as good a place to leave off as any. So, thanks for listening to this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in as we do every week. You can catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps92 on Twitter, at facebook.com/thephelps. Go check out atbnetwork.com for all of my Bengals coverage on there.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them for giving us, StreamYard and, all this cool stuff to work with. You can find more of what Thomas does at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram, at the Thomas J Network on YouTube and TikTok. And, thanks for listening, everybody. If you got anything to say about anything we talked about, please leave a comment down below. Tell us who your underrated player of the week is. Tell us what your takeaway from the Bengals-Browns game is. Do you think Nick Chubb is going to go ham on the Steelers next week? I do. Thomas clearly does. Chubb. But anyway, that's it for this week, guys. So I'm going to leave you all with a who day.
Nick Freddy Cougar Chubb.